Okay, everybody, hello. It's Mark Dolfini, landlord coach. I hope you're having an amazing weekend. This is a Ask Coach session. Sorry, I've taken a brief hiatus on doing these every Saturday. I had some life events that had come up, but fortunately, I have the time wealth to do that, to take care of things, and that's what that was. And I've had my my coaching clients who are registered in the members area. They, of course, get to ask the coach really whatever questions that address them here. So I'm going to talk tonight or tonight. It's not even, it's 11 o'clock here on the, just after 11 o'clock here Eastern time. And you can always tell because the locals here get freaked out, or the non-locals here get freaked out because at 11 o'clock on the first Saturday of the month, the tornado sirens go off. And of course, everybody freaks out. And I've been here for like 20 years and I still freak out because I can't remember, like I just forget that what the sirens are for. Anyway, so all the all the people who are not locals here think that there's an air raid or something. I don't know. It's actually quite funny. But I grew up on the East Coast where we didn't have that stuff. So anyway, so the tornado sirens go off and just get the blood pressure going early on. Anyway, so what I want to talk about today, of course, if you're looking at the site, what am I trying to say here? The title of this is that there's so much information out there, and it's really hard to know what to pay attention to. Now, I know some of you are watching this on my main page, and you're not real estate people, and that's okay. But it doesn't change the fact that we're all information seekers, right? Whether you're diet, whether you're in fitness, you're dieting, you're doing, you want to be an author. I get a lot of people who want to be authors that reach out to me, and there's a flood of information about that. Car repair, all this stuff, right? All this information that's out there that we have to kind of sift through for us to make decisions. Now, some of us out there, our personalities are such that you don't want to be wrong. So you want to go through as much possible information as you can, only to find yourself you're at this information overload where you got so much information, you're not even sure where to go. I mean, can you understand what I'm saying there? It's that analysis paralysis. And some of you can relate to that because that's the way you are. You're list people, right? You go and you want to make sure you don't want to be wrong. You go out there and you've gone through all the Kelley Blue books and the reviews and everything online and make sure that you're getting the absolute best possible thing for you. I respect that. I don't buy stuff that way. I buy stuff I kind of, if it looks like it's going to solve my problem, I might do a little bit of research, but generally I'm gonna buy it, and then I'll pretty much just make sure that it's if I guess the way that I'll buy it is I'll look at the money back guarantee first to see if it doesn't work, or if it doesn't work as advertised, can I get my money back? So I look at it probably in the reverse way to say, I'm not going to do my upfront research. I'll probably buy it, see how it's going to fit into my world, and then if I can return it. But the point is, we all buy stuff different ways, but we all buy stuff based on our emotions, right? We're all buying stuff that's based on an emotional need that we're trying to fill. I think that's fair to say. So we all buy, whether it's out of fear, out of guilt, out of fear of being left behind, fear of missing out, whatever it is, it's based on an emotion, right? And then after the fact, we justify it logically. So, if you don't believe that, no one's going to go out and buy a Ferrari because it's got great gas mileage, right? You're buying a Ferrari because it's cool. It's a cool car. It makes you feel it elevates your status, makes people want to envy what you have, right? You want to kind of be the big shot. But you don't go to your neighbor like, hey, nice Ferrari. You're like, yeah, man, you should really see how great the gas mileage is on that. Like, no, like you justify it logically by saying, well, it's a fast car. I deserve it. You're gonna come back into it and justify it logically. So the problem is, how do you sort through this pile of information that you have out there that is at your disposal? And again, real estate is known for being highly distractible, right? So if you guys are posting anything, I apologize. I'm trying to keep track of a couple different I'm on both the Landlord Coach page and also on YouTube. So if you have any questions, feel free to put them in there. I'll keep that monitored. But how do you stay focused? The tricky part about staying focused is it's very easy to get distracted when you're not clear on where you're trying to go. Okay, so let's pull this back for a second. So when I wrote the Time Wealthy Investor, okay, shameless plug. When I wrote the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0, the subheading, okay, so you've got the title, which is the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0, and then you've got the subtitle, right? And that subtitle, for those of you who are going to be authors out there, pay attention to this. The subtitle is the promise that you make. Okay, so listen to what I'm saying. So you've got whatever the book is. So it's the best book on whatever, right? And the subtitle is the promise that you make. So the promise that I made here, as it said, your real estate roadmap to owning more, working less, and creating the life you want. So why did I say roadmap? Good morning, Jim Martin. So the roadmap is basically a map is only good if you know two things, right? So a map is only good if you know where you are and you know where you want to go, right? That's really any map. Okay, so in this case, I call it a roadmap, but it's really the case of a map is you know where you are and you know where you want to go. Now, in the Time Wealthy Investor 2.0, I talk a lot about really trying to drill down in terms of where you want to go. Most people will come back and say, well, I want 100 rental units or I want 50 rental units. But that's not based on life output. I mean, the whole point of getting into that business in the first place is to understand or really to get to a better place in life, right? It's not to create another job for yourself. It's to get to live out a dream that you have or to create something in your world. And I've used the analogy quite often. Maybe you've got children that you want to homeschool. Maybe you want to get married. Maybe you want to have children. Maybe you've got children, you want to have more children. Maybe you don't want to have any children. Maybe you just want to go and travel and you want to spend your time teaching foreign children how to speak English or how to read or something along those lines. And it doesn't even necessarily need to be philanthropic, but I can promise you almost every single person, in fact, every single person, not almost, every person that I've talked to that I've either worked with or wants to work with me has a larger vision for their future, for what they want to do, what they want to accomplish. And that's why I call it vision in the book. And I refer to that as a vision all the time. But the main thing is, and some people will call it their goal. Some people will call it, whatever it is. I don't care. I prefer to use the word vision because for me, vision is the ultimate destination in terms of where we want to go, what we're trying to accomplish. A goal in my mind is really just the checkpoints along the way. So here's the problem with trying to come up with your vision on your own is it's often difficult because we often think, well, I want the things that are going to impress my neighbor. I want the thing that's going to prove to my third grade teacher that I am good enough. I want to do the things that are going to that are going to make people like me and not ridicule me or whatever. And we carry around that head trash as if it's somehow going to repay us in some future point. And it's all nonsense. It's all bullshit. And the sooner you can let go of that, the sooner you can actually start building a business towards a vision that serves you. And it's okay to be a little selfish. It's okay. Because most times it's like, okay, fine. You want a Dodge Challenger, you want a Ferrari, you want a boat, you want a jet, you want a set of jet skis, you want a house that curves with the earth. Okay, fine. But really at the end of the day, that's not what's going to make you happy. And we all know that. When we've all had more and more and more stuff, well, it's a fool's game, right? I mean, I've gotten to that point in my life where I realize the ultimate wealth for me is time wealth, is control of my calendar. If I'm not feeling well on a certain day, if I need to sleep in for an extra hour or two and go a few extra rounds with the Sandman, well, you know what? I'm going to feel a little bit better because I got an extra hour or two worth of sleep because I needed it. And that's because I have control of my calendar. I have time wealth in my calendar. And that's important. Now, now we've all got responsibilities. We've all got certain times where, hey, I've got a coaching call. I got to be on at a certain time. But it's the fact is I'm not being dictated by someone else. I put those constraints against myself. I want to be there. Right. So the way that you stay focused, the way that you keep from getting distracted, especially in the real estate space, and for those of you who are maybe just getting started in real estate, or maybe you're not even interested in real estate, but you just happen to be listening to this video. The thing is, there's so much stuff out there that will distract you, right? I have a client that is really interested in real estate, but he's also really interested in putting and getting in the ATM business. Okay. I'm not, where you own the ATM and then you get revenue from people, where they get the fees, that sort of thing, for basically selling you your money. I'm not saying one business is better than the other. I'm a real estate guy. I don't know the ATM business at all. All I'm saying is that it's very easy to get distracted when someone else is wanting your attention, wanting your money. And if you're not focused on where you're trying to go at the end of the day, it's very easy to get distracted by this opportunity and that opportunity and this opportunity, right? So that's why there's times where I'll talk to people who are these serial entrepreneurs, and they say, "Oh yeah, well, I invest in real estate. I do some flips. I'll do a wholesale deal once in a while. Oh, and I'm in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. And then, oh yeah, I also sell essential oils." You're like, "Oh my God, dude, like, wow." And they're very, very busy individuals. And I'm not saying that they don't have a good work ethic. Quite the contrary, they do have a good work ethic. But the problem is they're the ones doing all the damn work. Just because you have a good work ethic does not mean you have to do all the work. If you are taking notes on this, write that down. If you have a good work ethic, that's great. But that doesn't mean that you have to be the one doing all the damn work. So what am I saying? I'm saying that anytime you're bringing on an opportunity, I need you to be thinking, how can I put systems in place so I can fire myself from that job as quick as possible? Right? Richard Branson owns a bunch of businesses. Like he owns Virgin Atlantic. It's the whole Virgin Atlantic brand, right? There's records, it's airplanes, it's a whole bunch of stuff. I mean, he's even exploring space flight. But is he the one up front piloting the airplane? Is he the one taking the reservations? Is he the one doing? No, he's busy figuring out how he can create a business that other people run. Okay, so fine, he's not going to make as much money, in the beginning, but he's going to make a hell of a lot more because he can scale. Okay, so that's where I want you to think about it. So where do you get these ideas to scale? And this is something that I wrote about, and this is where I talked about it on Thursday night. I was at the local real estate investment association here in Indianapolis. They invited me to be their speaker, and I'm going to be teaching a 2.5-day course, by the way. So if you are local to Indianapolis or you want to come to that area, you can register through my page. Just go to the main page, landlordcoach.com, and you can register there. And it's super cheap. So it's never that cheap. They enticed me to offset some of the costs. So it's a very cheap event compared to what I normally charge for that. So if you are interested, go ahead to that. And if you have any other information, I don't want to plug that here, but if you are interested, just reach out to me directly and I'll tell you more about it. But specifically, when I was talking to the group at the Real Estate Investment Association on Thursday, we were, I was really pounding on them about how to create a business and what are some ways that you can get ideas on what pieces of infrastructure are important. Well, we all have favorite restaurants we go to, right? We all have favorite stores we like to shop at. Well, I can tell you almost always you like shopping there, you like eating there because of one specific thing, because it's consistent. Now, maybe it's that they're consistently, they have consistent variety, right? Meaning you go there all the time and they always have different things, like maybe Marshalls or what's that other place, TJ Maxx. They always have different stuff there, right? Maybe that's why you like to go, because there's always a variety. You can always count on the fact that they're always going to have different stuff, right? And that may seem a little bit crazy, but consistency, the places that have the best consistency are the ones that you like to go to the most. That means if you go to a restaurant, you know the food's always going to be good. No matter what you order, you know the food's always going to be good. If you always order the same thing, you always know you're going to have the same experience. If you go and the chef changed the recipe and now they're changing your experience of the meal, you didn't have any say so in it. Your experience has been altered and you had no say in the matter. And that's really what delivers it for people, is the fact that you are consistent. So I don't care what business that you're in, whether you're in a multi-level marketing business or real estate, or selling razor blades. I don't care what it is. Whatever you need to produce, you need to produce consistently. What if I produced this book, okay, The Time Wealthy Investor 2.0, and every other book, the pages were a little bit different, right? Like maybe the words in it were different, or the chapters were a little bit out of order. Like what would be, everybody's experience would be slightly different, right? And not necessarily in a good way. Some people would love the book and some people would hate the book because it made no sense. But as long as I can produce a consistent book, then everybody's going to have the same experience. Now, some people may not like the experience, and that's okay. You don't need to be everybody's customer. In fact, you shouldn't be everybody's customer, because you're just like everybody else. You're mainstream, and you're going to be lost in the haze. When you can be yourself, attract the type of client avatar that you're looking for, that's the most attractive to them. You don't need to be everything to everybody. In fact, it's usually when you're a little bit polarizing that you start attracting a lot more customers, because they're more like you. Like, again, I'm a Marine, I'm a gun guy. I'm not going to apologize for that. And I know there's lots of people out there that, don't dial into my military service and don't really dial into being a gun owner. Oh, well, see ya. You're not my ideal person. And quite frankly, we're probably not even going to get along as individuals. That's okay. It doesn't mean I don't like you. Doesn't mean I can't, but we're probably not going to do business together. So, just like if you're going to go and shop at a certain place, if you're going to eat at a certain restaurant, more than likely you think the way that they do, whether you realize it or not, because you're having the same experience. It's an experience that was part of their vision when they put the business together. Okay. So what I'm saying is, to keep from being distracted, you need to get a solid vision for where you're trying to go. And I don't necessarily mean your business. I don't mean like you want to be a $2 million business by the end of a certain year. I'm talking about where you're specifically trying to go. What are you specifically trying to accomplish? If you're specifically saying, well, I want to put myself through college. Okay, great. Put yourself, when, where, what, when is this going to happen? Get damn specific in terms of how that's going to happen. It's exactly what I did when I joined the Marine Corps. I knew that I wasn't likely going to stay in the Marine Corps. I loved my job in the Marine Corps. And had I gone in and when I was a little bit younger, I might have stayed in a little bit longer, but I knew I wanted to go out and get an education. I knew that going in. So when I was in 2.5 years, you know what? I had to sit down. I had to take an SAT. I hadn't sat for an SAT. I graduated 352nd out of like 354 people in Pine Bush High School. I actually failed my senior year in high school, but because you didn't have to have a cumulative passing grade, you only had to pass certain classes. Well, you know what? I was able to graduate. And yeah, I had every reason in the world to want to be able to fail, but I wanted to be successful, and I had to bust my ass really, really hard to get into Purdue. And I had to study my ass off just to get a decent SAT score, so colleges would seriously take a look at me. So fortunately that worked out well. Anyway, so that's all I have for today. So get very, very clear on your vision for the future. If you have questions about that, on how to do that, it is written in, I believe it's chapter 4 or 5 of the book. Sorry, it's been a long day, or it's been a long week. But it talks about vision, and I'm not necessarily even saying, well, you have to get the book to get a clarity in your vision. Work with a coach. So you can get absolutely clear on where you're trying to go and what you're trying to accomplish in your world. And that once you can get clarity on that, man, there is power in that. It's just like, it's like when you know what you're going for, there's not anything that's going to get in your way. It's like the most dangerous place on the planet is between a mother and her child, right? I think we would all agree with that. Well, why is that? Because the mother has a vision to watching her child grow up, right? So, and nothing is going to get in the way of that. So think about that ferocity of purpose that a mother has for her child. And that's where you should be when you are looking at opportunities out there, when you're sifting through information. If the information doesn't fit and doesn't get you closer to your vision for the future, you can feel good about letting it go and moving it along. Okay, that's all I have for today. Went a little long. It's 20 minutes. I usually try to keep these around 15 or so, but thank you all for the support. If you are interested in the September 20th through 22nd event in 2019, I'm going to be here in Indianapolis. I'll put a link on the page so you can do that. It'll be on an event, and I'm going to be covering a lot of different stuff. It's going to be a basic business course. Yes, it's going to be real estate focused, but it's only going to cover about maybe 10 to 15% is going to be real estate focused. And it's not even about buy and hold stuff. So yes, I am the landlord coach, but it's going to be specifically about setting up businesses. It's about setting up infrastructure, getting a vision for your future, understanding negotiating tactics, understanding people, working with them. So there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to be covering. I look forward to seeing you all there. Again, thanks for the support. Remember, if you don't place a value on your free time, someone else will. Have a great rest of your weekend. Take good care. See you.